understand, like, what do you specifically sell? Like, I did see financial services, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll give you some background. I'm 61 years old. I've been a financial advisor for 28 years.
Yeah.
Uh, I was a disabled veteran from the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Went to college and I started with Merrill Lynch in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Was with them almost 19 years, and in 2015, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I started my own firm.
Okay.
And honestly, I've been really successful with revenue, and but honestly, I've never had a consistent uh, sales system as far as cold calling, attracting new clients. It's basically been referrals.
Yeah.
Without me doing any active selling. But you know, as I'm finishing up this year, I'm I kind of signed on to a company. I haven't committed to anything yet, but what they do is they generate leads.
Yeah.
With AI sourcing based on the criteria that I'm looking for in my client base.
Oh, okay.
And what they do is they screen it, they, qualify them, they, even contacting themselves to get them ready for me to make the first contact.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm sorry, is it Alicio?
That's correct.
Okay. Honestly, Alicio, it makes me kind of nervous because I'm really good at what I do, putting together portfolios and things like that.
Yeah.
I've never been confident in a cold call, a cold contact, somebody that doesn't already know me, that, it's a family or a referral, things like that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I'm really good at what I do and more people need to know this.
Okay. So it's like an impact, like you want to have like a big impact on people knowing that you
exactly.
do. Yeah.
So this is where I'm at. Honestly, I'm probably in a crazy career field to be as truly as introverted as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Once I've been introduced, once I've made the contact, I'm very good. I'm very confident. It's just that that old scenario where you go to a group meeting and let's go around the room and tell us about ourselves. I hate that. So that puts me in a trap that I've created to where I struggle with reaching out and calling. And so,
okay.
So if that makes any sense. And
yeah, like maybe you're not as willing to reach out because you don't really know what to say next or what could happen from a cold approach.
Exactly. I've been doing this a long time and I still feel that I don't have confidence in the initial meetings, the initial calls. And I don't want to say the jargony stuff, the cliched BS, and some of the things that I was watching these videos and going through some of the materials, like, I've heard myself say that, and we all do. But so here's the deal: I'm going to finish this year with $400,000 in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want next year to top over 500 again. I've done that in the past.
Yeah.
And really, for me to do that, I really need to grow my client base. And so I'm looking for any kind of guidance for encouragement to help me discover some of the things that are probably holding me back and just start moving up that ladder again.
Okay. And for you right now, like you mentioned 400,000 in revenue, like is that for the business or is that like you mean for your like income? Like, how do you mean?
Well, I'm a sole practitioner. I'm the only advisor. I do have an assistant. Yeah. So I generated just over $400,000 in revenue for this year. And so my back office broker dealer gets, they get 11% of that. Then I've got, office overhead, office expenses and everything else. So, so my taxable income is probably, I don't know, 250 maybe after expenses and payroll and all that. So
your take home is more like 150,000 a year.
No, it's more than that. It's even after taxes. we'll say 200,000 easy.
Okay, so you're 200,000. You want to increase that, like just the overall from 400,000 for the like business to 500,000.
Exactly.
Okay, and how many like, I guess like right now, I know you said you're getting into like some new opportunities, but it's gonna require you to cold call, right?
Yes.
Like be more of a cold approach. I guess for you, like, why do you feel like that gives you so much like hesitancy? Like, what do you feel like? Is it because you're more like introverted and maybe it's like brand new to you, or what do you feel like shows up for you?
Great question. And I've examined this. I've even gone to therapy about it.
Hmm.
I think it deals with some of the issues I had growing up.
Yeah.
Just a
Where did
lack
you
of
first notice? Yeah, like where did you first notice it like show up in your life?
Well, I moved around a lot as a kid. I went to 9 schools in 12 years. So I was always the
Yeah.
new guy, always had a unique voice. Um, I wasn't a nerd or anything like that. I fit in. I was a great athlete. I was really smart,
Yeah.
but I just felt awkward in new situations. I was
Hmm.
bullied a lot at these various
Okay.
schools
Yeah.
until realized that I could actually fight and people left me alone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have a really bad um, this is crazy. I feel like I'm in therapy. I have a really bad issue with rejection.
Hmm.
And so I hate confrontation. I hate rejection. I hate because it just brings up a lot of bad memories. And so
Yeah.
I avoid it. So the
Hmm.
easiest way to avoid rejection is not put yourself out there. And
Yeah.
as crazy as that is, that's a reality for me. It's like, well, I can't be told no if I don't ask.
Yeah. But
The same
I
same
guess
logic
yeah.
is I can't be told yes unless I ask. So I'm stuck.
Yeah, 100%. But do you see how that way of thinking, maybe that like way of like that paradigm, right? That you don't want to be rejected, you always want to hear a yes, could be the reason why you maybe haven't been able to like create the impact that
Absolutely.
you are capable of.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I guess if we were to help you, right? Because we can help you with the skills, right, to like get rejected a lot less. I can't say that it's 100% of the time you're not going to get rejected, but are you willing to put yourself out there so that you can that new identity, that new version that isn't afraid of just rejection? Understand it's a very natural part of a conversation. Because even Jeremy at the highest level still gets rejected.
Sure. Sure.
Like,
When I started in this business, they always said it's a numbers game. That if you're in the if you're a professional baseball player and you get 3 hits out of 10, then you're in the Hall of Fame. Well, in our business, if you get 3 hits out of 100, you're incredibly successful. So you've got to go through all the no's to get to those handful of yeses.
yeah.
And
Well,
over time, I just got to the point of, well, I've got a pretty comfortable lifestyle, pretty comfortable income.
yeah.
There's no need for me to do that. But
Yeah.
I'm in this crazy environment that we're in, and I've been doing this almost 30 years.
Hmm.
There are a lot of people that need my expertise. And
Yeah.
I'm getting referrals. I've got clients in states I've never even been to. I've got clients I've never even met because they were referrals from people who do trust me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if all these people have the confidence in me, I know I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
Let me get over these little issues that I have psychologically
Hmm.
and just get it done and grow my practice, help more people, and do better for my family at the same time.
Yeah. 100%. Because like before we started talking here today, were you out there looking for ways to like increase your skill level so that you can close more deals, get into this new like environment of cold approach, like kind of what you're getting into right now? Or is this like the first time you're talking to somebody about potentially getting that help?
Oh no, through the years I've gone through uh, different types of sales training and things like that.
Yeah.
Either within the company or they'll bring in outside experts and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll get highly motivated and start implementing things, and then
Hmm.
then it just falls off because like I said earlier, I don't have a consistent model, a consistent
Okay.
system.
So you've never had somebody like specifically break down a full system and write it out with you and hold you accountable to that standard.
Mm, Probably not to the degree that you're referring to. No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like, I guess not really because that's why you mentioned that you eventually fall off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So just to be sure that what we do here can help you, what are you looking for in regards to not just like an advanced sales training, but like a mentor, somebody who can help you take it to that next level?
I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting. Is that something y'all do?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so so honestly, when I signed up and I purchased the at least the preliminary part of the system with
Yeah.
the black book of questions, I've
Hmm.
watched some of the scenario questions that Jeremy did on video.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't gone through all the resources that y'all have already sent me, um,
Sure.
because I didn't realize that. Honestly, I didn't realize there was going to be a one-on-one session available from what I already did.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll go through this over the next month or two, and
Hmm.
but you guys jumped on it right away. So frankly, you're moving faster on it than I am.
Yeah.
So I
Well, it
really
says a
don't know.
lot about us, right? Like we can't be the type of person to train people like yourself to get to the next level. We don't do our part.
Right. Thankfully, you're not like me and procrastinate and put it off. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So honestly, I really don't know all of what you guys do,
Yeah.
but I saw enough clips on social media over the last few months from Jeremy that at first were really cringy,
Hmm.
and then I started watching the all of it, and I realized what he was doing, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, and then it really started hitting home, like, oh my God, he's as much as I hate the idea of this, I'm right there. I can do better. I can say things better. I can react better, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Maybe
what.
like initially it was kind of you reacting to like, oh, what if I have to do this? Then you kind of started to accept that you might have to. And now you're realizing that you actually do, because in order for you to get to that next level that you say you want to get to, like it's going to require that you start applying some new skills.
So through the years, both at Merrill Lynch and beyond, I got
Yeah.
into management early on.
Hmm.
And what that allowed me to do is actually sales manager and
Hmm.
coaching
Yeah.
and office director. And I always got a big thrill out of developing advisors into their professional role. I'm really good at that. It's kind of like when I play baseball, I was better than average,
Yeah.
but I was a phenomenal coach, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense. I was a much better coach than a player.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in this world. I'm really good at what I do, but I'm even better at developing others because I can help them implement strategies that I just have a hard time
Yeah.
absorbing myself or accepting. It's just
Yeah.
weird. I know it is, but you may
I get
agree.
what you mean. I've worked with like people like that before, but do you feel like, yeah, to some degree, you do have to learn like fundamentally how to like do it yourself so that you can teach others. Otherwise, you'd be teaching out of coherence.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
understand the process. I understand the discipline required. I understand the repetitive nature of it, so it becomes natural.
Yeah. But are you
Uh,
prepared for that?
yeah. So it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm ready for another kickstart.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, and that's why I was like curious, like just to be sure that we could help you. Like, what are you looking for in like advanced training mentorship, right? Because we do have different like things like, with no accountability, right? If you're more like, I can do it on my own versus like, hey, I do need accountability. I do need somebody like Jeremy to like help me build out my entire process and show me how to like give me leadership skills as well. Show me what it's going to take for me to get to the next level. And also like we do a lot of, the inner, the identity, right? Like, because a lot of times in business, when people get stuck in business, you don't just have like a business problem. A lot of times business owners have personal problems that end up showing up in their business.
It's true, and that's exactly evident in my world. Yep.
Yeah. And so if we work on that, right? Because I mean, just like any business owner, Jeremy faced a lot of challenges mentally as well, internally, internal belief systems that he grew up with, right? So we can help you with that as well. It just depends as to like what you feel you need that's going to really make sure that you not only get to the next level, but you stay there and you know how to continue to increase it. Not just kind of get there and go back to old habits.
Right. So what do you recommend I do? Look around your materials more, or is there something that could help me identify what steps would be appropriate for me?
Yeah. Well, like based on what you're saying, like I mean, we definitely have some things here that can definitely help you. Like I don't necessarily recommend just the trainings alone, right? Because if you just have the trainings, you're left to like your own motivation, your own discipline, your own like skill set to try to put the pieces together. But as you're getting into this new phase of the business and you mentioned you want to regrow, right? That means you have to take a leap into something, a new different world.
Yep.
Yeah. So like and just like before I can kind of walk you through the details, like just to understand you as well. I know you said that you want to get to like $500,000 per year, like by having this new like cold approach side of things in the business coming in because of what you do,
Well,
being so impactful and
that,
beneficial to people.
that's
So like,
500. I'm
yeah.
sorry, that's 500,000 this year, and I want that to expand every year. But that's my goal this year.
Okay. Is that like the humble goal or is that like really where you feel you can be? Like if you build the confidence to like no longer worry about rejection and show up the way that you with that new identity, like that new version of yourself that isn't afraid of rejection, knows how to handle any situation, regardless of how things begin to deviate throughout the conversation.
Alicio,
And
when I left Merrill Lynch 10 years ago, I was doing over 1 million a year.
mhm,
So 500 is a very achievable goal for me based on the clients I have now. I could probably do it, but growing my client base would make that um, certainly easier.
yeah,
And that's what I want to. I'm sorry if that's what you were asking the question. 500 is uh, the the next level that I need to be at.
okay. So you're trying to regrow to something that you've already done in the past. This isn't new to you.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So it's a little bit more like now that you're more like needing like I guess like it's just like for you, right? And that's why I don't want to really answer this for you. Like, what do you feel you need to get to the next level outside of cold call training, the skill sets, maybe like having some sessions with Jeremy to like really train you on those
Okay.
specific areas of cold calling and do mock calls and different scenarios so you're not practicing on your leads. I think we talked about accountability as well, just to hold you to that new standard and make sure that you stay there. Like, is
Yeah.
there anything else you feel like you would need to like really get to the next stage, or is that like what you feel would put you in that spot?
The accountability thing is such a tricky word for me because it kind of triggers thoughts that are kind of negative in a way. Uh, but I realize that it can, I need to view it again as a more positive,
Yeah.
not for someone to punish me, but for someone to lift me.
Yeah.
Because the word accountability is almost punitive, kind of, at least from a certain mindset that I've had in the past. I'll tell you one thing that so this is probably one of the reasons why I get stuck in where
Mm-hmm.
I'm at professionally is because I hate the idea of accountability. I hate the idea of answering to anyone. I but also realized when I was in those positions to hold others accountable, they flourished or they
Yeah.
found another career. It's not meant for everybody. As you know, not every career is meant for everybody.
Yeah.
And I do kind of miss that in some of the larger settings I've had where I've had colleagues and or supervisors that could bounce ideas off and things like that. I really don't have that like I used to.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I just want to throw this out there because I'm starting to get a little itch that I'm thinking, oh God, this is where we're going to go. Um, I've always hated role playing,
Mm-hmm.
but I absolutely understand the positive benefits from it. It's just so freaking uncomfortable to do it. Um, but I realize that's where you can really grow.
Yeah.
And I used to do this. I would record sessions. I would, video, and rewatching. It's like, oh my god, because in the process of it, you don't realize the things you're saying or doing,
Yeah.
and it's so important to record. So important to build that proper muscle memory and vocabulary skills. And
Yeah.
so I'm guessing some of what y'all do is some of that. And I
Yep.
think I've seen that a little bit in some of the videos from Jeremy. It's like, oh God. But anyway, I've got to get out of that and realize that I'm the only one holding me back. I am the only one responsible for my success. And so if it takes me being uncomfortable for a bit to get to the next level, let's fuck it, let's do it, you know?
Exactly, right? And the other way to like look at that as well as a business owner, given that you have something that really causes a positive impact in people's life, is are you willing to overcome your own uncomfortability so you can impact more people? Because by you not doing this, you're not only preventing yourself from your success, you're preventing other people from finding you.
That's true. That's
So is that
absolutely true.
uncomfortability worth it to you to help more people? Is this mission that you have worth getting uncomfortable for?
It is. Honestly, it is. I am ready.
Okay. And why do you feel like it's important for you like now though? Right? Because we all know the people that are new year, new me, right? And they are like in this short, like high frequency, but
You,
then it gets hard and that's where they fall short to attain success.
actually, I think it probably started just over a year ago as I was approaching 60.
Mm,
Um, Early on in my career, I had hoped that at the age of 55, I would be in the position that if I wanted to retire, I could.
yeah.
Not meaning I'd had to, but if I wanted to, I could.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't reach that through a series of a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And so now, as I was approaching 60 and I just now turned 61, it's like, all right, well, the beauty of my career is that we can work until death, basically. We can choose our client base, we can choose our activity levels, we can do all that. I really don't see myself retiring necessarily,
Hmm.
but I would really like the next 10 years or so, because I'm in great health. People think I'm 40 instead of 60.
Yeah.
Um, I would love the next 10 years to get back to where I was, not
Hmm.
only in revenue and growth, but also personal development, because I've done it in the past. It's like I've
Yeah.
been to the World Series, I've been to the Super Bowl. I just need to get back to it. I don't want to be like the Cowboys. They haven't been there in 30 years. Well, I'm in a good place right now, and I'm ready. I'm ready to make this step because, it's like I said, I'm really good. I've helped a lot of people. I've helped people with dreams they never thought possible. Um, and I've experienced that. And I, I want more people to experience it. And I want to reap the joy of knowing I was part of that and also
Yeah.
benefit personally.
Yeah. Because like, how did that make you feel? Like, I noticed whenever you were mentioning like helping people, you had like a little bit of a different frequency in your tone, like it kind of uplifted. Is that
Yeah,
like something that you really enjoy, like from what you do?
absolutely. I tell you, one of the things that has been a driving factor for me in this business, and I tell this to folks, my greatest joy is knowing I make a difference in people's lives I will probably never meet. And what I mean by that is if I've got clients, whether it's an individual, couple, family, a small business organization, if I help them do the right thing with their finances, that will enable them to do things they never thought possible. Help
Yeah.
other family members, children's hospitals, animal shelters, churches, charity, charitable giving, things like that.
Yeah.
Knowing that people will benefit that I will never meet because I did the right thing for my clients. I tell you, that is a huge, huge motivator and excitement for me. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Okay. Yeah. For you, like, how does that make you feel, like, personally, though?
Oh, it's like it's the biggest reason why I do this. That excites me more than the income I've made through the years. It really does. Merrill
Yeah.
Lynch almost didn't hire me, by the way. I found this out years later when I found my profile,
Hmm.
when I found my files. I was considered a higher risk, like do not hire him. And the
Yeah.
reason is because the psychological um, questionnaires that I went through, pretty extensive, by the way,
Yeah.
it came back that I was not motivated by money.
Mm,
And that's probably really not the best thing to come across the screen when you want to work in the financial industry.
yeah.
But I truly get motivated by making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
Almost like a doctor, an attorney, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
a health consultant, anything
For
like
sure.
that. I get paid nicely. I have great income, but personally, I could probably make a lot of money doing almost anything else.
Yeah.
Well, not almost anything else, but you know what I mean. There's other ways to make money,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know outside of the health health care world how I can be so intimately involved in really making a difference in people's lives than what I do now, and that is huge for me.
Yeah. Because on the flip side, kind of what we were talking about earlier is like, what if you don't do anything about this though? You stay with the old identity of like being a bit like nervous to get in front of like people who don't really know you just yet, and you
Yep,
don't develop that skill and you stay at this level.
it makes me sad and it makes me feel pitiful because I know better.
Yeah.
I just have trouble getting beyond whatever obstacles I've created in my own person.
Yeah. Are you ready to overcome that once and for all?
Yeah, I am. I truly am.
Okay. Yeah, because like I feel like we've definitely covered a lot of like ground here. For you, like, is there anything like on your end that you feel like we haven't discussed that you think that I should know?
Um, I don't think so. I don't think so. Honestly, I think I've shared more than I probably expected to share, but I need to be honest with myself and I need to be honest with those who are going to try to help me. So,
Yeah. No, yeah, and I'm definitely clear on like where you're at right now and also clear on the results that you'd like to achieve. It seems like you've been there, you've seen like the success on the high end, right? But I think there's always been like that, I guess like that paradigm that you kind of grew up with going from household like one area to the other, always being bold, like you kind of always had that defense mechanism. Um, Either way, you've been able to be quite successful in what you do, regardless of those situations that you've had to endure. But for you to get to that next level, it seems like you are aware that you need to overcome this way of thinking.
absolutely.
And that's certainly something that we can help you out with here at seventh level.
I mean, you wouldn't believe the opportunities I've turned down through the years because I always felt like I wasn't worthy. It's
Hmm.
absolutely mind numbing when I look back and think about it. Because even though the whole world was telling me, no, this is yours, you're ready for it, you can do this, I said, no, no, no. I would say
Yeah.
no to it. Hell, I was in high school, started working at McDonald's the day I turned 16. And by my senior year, still in school, I was one of the assistant managers, and they were grooming me to take over a new store that was being built. I was
Yeah.
18 years old. I
Hmm.
said no to it because I didn't feel like I was ready. I joined the Air Force. And within a year of the Air Force, I had already been to rescue school because I was a rescue firefighter.
Yeah.
I was in the space shuttle rescue team. They had given me orders to go back to the fire academy and be an instructor. I said no to that.
Hmm.
Um, I turned down assignments in Europe. I
Hmm.
was recognized as one of the top airmen in the entire Air Force. I was offered a two-stripe promotion if I were to stay on a site that I, I was chosen out of all of Europe to go rebuild the fire prevention program in Berlin, Germany,
Yeah.
as E4 sergeant.
Yeah.
Within,
It seems like based on a lot of these scenarios, like a lot of people have seen like your potential. It seems like you just haven't seen it just yet, and you
yeah,
haven't capitalized on.
because for some reason, I've always had this thing about me that even all evidence showing otherwise, feeling that I'm not worthy. And so I've said no to opportunities. And that boils down to the same thing of I'm basically saying no to opportunities when I don't pick up the phone and reach
Yeah,
out. And
exactly.
that's the mindset that I've created, I've caused, that I'm living with, and I need to overcome.
Are you ready for that?
Well, I say I am.
Yeah. When the
um,
time comes, right, to make that decision,
yeah.
it's going to be like scary, and that's
Well,
normal.
no, the thing is, it's either put up or shut up. If I can complain all day long about what I'm not doing, but if I refuse to make the changes necessary, it's like just be quiet about it if you're not going to do anything about it. And I'm ready to stop being quiet about it.
Okay. Well, if you'd like, what I can do is like I can walk you through the process of exactly how we can make that happen.
Okay.
A through Z. Do you have a pen and paper with you?
I do.
Okay. So write this down. If you write down NEPQ,
Okay.
and do you know what NEPQ stands for, by the way?
I do not. I haven't. It's on the black book
Yeah.
questions and some of the literature, but I have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go over like the program, the mentorship, right? It's from NEPQ, because once I show you there's really only two paths you can go down, right? The first path is what we call committed to mastery, where you won't continue to dabble and keep up old ways of thinking or old habits because you have people that don't know you yet that depend on you to help them.
Okay.
Right? Now, the second path is you don't do anything about this and you don't have that plan in place to really master this and overcome this way of thinking that has held you back for years. Right? And so when we get into NEPQ, right, just to walk you through what that means. So NEPQ stands for Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questions. And that revolves around working with human behavior. So you don't have to be like that very abrasive, like extroverted guy. You can be very laid back, right? Being able to work with human behavior, get people to open up. And during the time that they're opening up with you, seeing you as the real expert and authority in your industry, but also helping them overcome their ways of thinking so that they can help themselves through your services. And so we're going to help you master that. So the first part to this mentorship is where you're going to have access to industry specific structure that Jeremy has written out, and we're going to make it like specific to you. So then you'd be able to have your accountability coach, your coach, to review that with you. Then you'd show up to training calls with Jeremy Miner himself so that he can train you on that as well. And this is kind of where we talked about like getting a bit uncomfortable so that Jeremy can really help you out in areas that you need so that you can show up in a better way for your prospects, for the people that need your help. So that's the first part of the mentorship, where you have a industry specific structure for your space so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just already go straight into what works and what other people have done in your industry to be successful.
Good.
Now, the second thing you have access to is our advanced training portal. In the advanced training portal is really where you're going to learn a lot of like the human psychology. So it's not just like word tracks and word scripting. You're going to learn about human psychology, why specific things work the way that they do, and then also just different trainings on like how to properly cold call somebody the right way, what to do if they come off like, very abrasive in different situations, and how to properly navigate it, and how you must stay in like a good state and controlled so that you don't get into this objection handling matrix thing, right? Okay. So it's going to be so you learn exactly really what Jeremy has done in his sales careers to be extremely successful, like our other clients as well. And so you're going to be able to listen to not only the tonality, but also the body language, the way that affects your confidence and the way that you communicate, your verbal pacing and pausing, verbal cues, and then just overall the NEPQ structure so you can be familiar with it. And so that way you have something to study upon whenever you're not on the coaching sessions. And so that way you can still improve and you can still see like what mastery looks like without necessarily always having to be in front of people. Like that's something you can do in your free time so you can continue to hone your skills.
Okay.
Do you feel like that would be helpful for you?
Yeah, it would.
Okay. Why?
Because those are the things that most of us in my industry and probably most any sales, we'll get in, not necessarily a rut, but we'll get into a routine to where we're not recognizing things that are holding us back in the conversation because we're just so used to saying the same things and reacting the same way.
Exactly.
And the world's evolving. I mean, I talk to 30-year-old clients a lot differently than I talk to 70-year-old clients. And it, the same message needs to come across, but you need to be emotionally intelligent enough to recognize how you speak. You know, you mentioned the verbal cues, the pacing, uh, human psychology, how people are going to respond. I'm aware of all those things, and I've taught those things. But you know, it's easy to. I'll admit that I haven't stayed up with it, and I haven't had anybody evaluate my system or my style in a long time.
Yeah.
And I could use that help.
Okay. That's great to hear that you're now speaking a language that is like opening up. Can you like notice like the way that you initially started the conversation compared to now?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now the third thing that you have access to is going to be a weekly, well, you're going to have more daily sessions available to you. You don't have to join every single one of them because I know like you're a business owner, you have things to do as well, but you'll have access daily to some of our top sales trainers to review your calls as well. And we can show you what you're doing well so you can continue to do that and also what you can improve on. And so it's going to be a feedback loop, understanding your skill set initially so that we know what to develop and what's really going to get you the best results to get more people to open up to you.
Okay.
And how do you take your calls right now? Is it like mainly like on Zoom or are you mainly in person? Like what's the mix of those
You know, I
conversations you
don't
have?
use technology the way I should. I do have the capability for Zoom and Google Meets and you know some
Mm-hmm.
of those other applications. I've only done it a few times,
Yeah.
uh, but I really want to start incorporating that more because frankly, I want to start traveling more.
Yeah.
And I because like I said, I've got clients I've never met, and
Mm-hmm.
so proximity is not the issue. Accessibility is. I need to learn how to use technology better.
Yeah.
You know, share my screen and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, if they're local, I see them in the office. If they're not, then we handle things electronically or distantly. But I would really like some, I don't know, some pointers on how to implement
Yeah.
Zoom type technology, you know,
Yeah.
and
We can help you out with that. That's not an issue if you wanted to get to a place where you have the skill set and maybe you want to have the flexibility and freedom to travel.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the fourth thing that you'll learn is something that we call objection prevention, because you know how you said sometimes, especially with cold call, like you might be a bit hesitant, right? And the big challenge there is like, do you feel like if you're a bit hesitant and you show up on the call, like that, the prospect is going to be able to feel that on their side?
absolutely.
Yeah. So you can actually join a call that's going to help you understand like why that happens, right? Kind of like the understanding a little bit more of your mental models, and more importantly, also how to develop the skill set that we call objection prevention to avoid people being confrontational, giving you bad answers so that you don't even get these objections in the first place. And
Okay.
so what that means is that you're not going to have to like deal with like cold calling, like the typical what people do and like hear back, hey, not interested. Why are you calling? Like not those types of responses, but actually people opening up.
I like it.
And then the fifth part to this is right that coach that I mentioned to you, which is where one of the things that we'll do from the beginning is we'll create a specific game plan with you in the mentorship so that you ensure that we can ensure that you know how to show up properly, what areas you need to work in. So more importantly, understand and have like a skill gap evaluation to understand what is really the skill sets that is causing you to lose out on the majority of sales right now and how to fix those immediately. And then also the other things that we'll need to develop to really get you to that next level. And so that way you're not just coming into a mentorship hoping that you'll hit $500,000 in 2026 and even hitting that $1 million mark in the future, but you'll have confidence and the know-how that you actually achieve it because you have a real plan.
Okay.
And there's something new that we've actually recently added, and this is a way for you, and I think this could be like good for you as well, because you know how you were saying like you don't always like to necessarily be like in a group session or like in front of people and like actually answering stuff and doing mock calls and role plays.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things that we recently added is called 7th level AI. It's like a Jeremy AI. And so what it does is if especially if you do these calls on Zoom, like as you begin to travel and maybe start doing those things online or even on phone calls is you can upload those calls onto this AI software. And this isn't like ChatGPT where like, it's going to use a lot of generic stuff from like Jeremy's YouTube videos. Jeremy gave permission to a lot of the licensing from his like one-on-ones and his masterminds, and he ingrained it into this AI. So it knows seventh level as much as Jeremy would. And so what it does for every single call that you have, you can come in, you can upload it, or we can add some automation so it uploads on its own. And it's going to grade you based on how you're applying NEPQ and how people respond to you based on what you said or asked.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
So everything from like how you actually connect with a person, how you're engaging and getting them to open up, to like how you present to them, and then get them to commit to make that change and want to work with you. And if they give you objections, like if you properly objection handled in a way that came off non-salesy, right? And if for some reason it has feedback, it will even direct you to the training portal, to a video that's going to help you change that and develop that skill set. And so this is the way for you to be able to get coaching without necessarily always having to jump on coaching calls. You can upload your calls and you'll get that feedback and you'll be able to train on it. It's going to tell you feedback for each section, what to do better next. And so that way you're consistently honing in your skills. Because how much faster do you feel like you would improve being able to have almost every call analyzed?
Wow, that's it's a new concept. I've never even considered that. So I'm sure it would be beneficial.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, in terms of like the full like mentorship, in terms of the process, that's really how the full mentorship works for the year. In terms of the process though, based on the plan that we've gone through, do you feel like this can take you from where you're at now to like where you want to be with the business and where you want it to go in the future?
Yeah, it sounds like it is. Yes.
Okay. Well, specifically, like why do you feel like it can though?
Well, because you're touching on a lot of things I'm already familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a foreign concept at all. And it's actually encouraging um, to know that, I really don't have to keep trying to figure this out on my own. I can get some professional guidance to
Yeah.
help me along the way.
Yeah. Okay. And you feel like with the guidance we walked over like that, for sure, we can put you in a place where you're adding that 100K to 2026?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. Cool. Do you have any other questions about the mentorship aside from the investment? If not, we can roll into those details.
No.
Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is the full year, right? The training, and in order for our team to come in and really help you develop these skills to help you get to the next level with your business and really show up as that new version of yourself, right? Confidence, understanding your process and helping you work to new mental models. The investment is 10,400 for the year.
Okay.
And really the next steps, if that's something you'd want to be a part of, is we'd make some type of arrangement for the investment, whether you want to break that down into more digestible pieces or, some people also do it up front. But that depends, like, how do you want to proceed from here?
I haven't budgeted yet for the following year, so I would need to probably work through some different pricing scenarios as far as I wouldn't be able to send you 10,000 right away.
Yeah, no, and that's no worries either way. Like, again, like I mentioned, most people, what they'll do, because we have like, options for like funding to break that down over like 12 months, 0% interest. We don't add anything to it. Like that's what most people and business owners do, right? Because it allows them to have the extra capital to do things that help grow their business as well, while
Right.
still getting the mentorship to like develop the skills and not really holding themselves back that way.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do you want to explore those options? What most business owners do?
Sure.
Okay, so typically what most business owners do, right, who work with us, they break that down into 12 months. And so what that would look like if you were to do it that way is it would be $867 per month for 12 months.
Okay, now is this the level that you'd mentioned all these other things? I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it includes everything that we just went over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: some of these clips that I've seen on social media with Jeremy, he's got you know, a room full of people. Are they? Is that part of this process, or is that something different?
You mean like the in person?
Yeah, where he's actually
Uh,
talking to people and putting a microphone in front of them and asking them a question.
we do have something coming up in April, but it's not like a, let's say, a weekly thing. Most of it's like online.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah. You can definitely like get us in person though. Yeah, if that's something you'd want to.
okay. So, so how long is this? How long have you guys? I know it's probably always evolving. In how you said you just added, some new stuff. But how long have you been around doing this kind of stuff?
Since 2018.